What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Flow State with yours truly, Harry Mack. My guest today is a truly inspirational artist. His debut solo album, I've Never Been Here Before, is out right now. Please welcome Erick the Architect. Let's go.
This is for my Flow State. Addict. Yeah, y'all know we back at it. Ain't it crazy how the mind works magic? We gon' show you the method behind the madness, cause this is for my Flow State.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Flow State with yours truly, Harry Mack. My guest today is an artist, songwriter, rapper, producer, and multi-instrumentalist hailing from Brooklyn, New York. 1/3 of the group Flatbush Zombies, somebody who's been instrumental in crafting their signature sound. He's collaborated with artists from a wide range of genres, garnering over 1 billion with a B streams online for his music, which is incredible. His debut solo album, I've Never Been Here Before, is out right now. Features the likes of Joey Badass, Layla Hathaway, George Clinton from Parliament Funkadelic, just to name a few. So many other incredible people. I'm honored to have this man in the studio today. My friends, please welcome Erick the Architect.
Yeah. New York City.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thank you so much for being here today, man.
That was a great, I've never been introduced like that in my life.
For real?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Well, we'll clip that for you, man. You
I
can
need
take that.
that. I
You
need
can take
that.
that around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send that to any other podcast you go on. We got you.
It's like this is the way I should be introduced everywhere. Nah.
Well, you deserve that, man. You've been
Appreciate
absolutely
you.
killing it. Yeah, I've been listening to the record a lot, man. I've never been here before.
Yes, sir.
So many things about it stand out to me, man. But I think one of the things that stands out to me the most is how diverse the sonic palette is. So many different sounds, so many different influences, so many different genres kind of going into the record. I guess I'd like to start there, man, if you're cool with it. Like, where do you think that eclectic taste for you as an artist and producer comes from?
That definitely comes from my house growing up. My previous tour I did last year was kind of like breaking down each room in my house. And like, if it was like a Sims house, this would be like my mom's room and my dad's room, and then I got my room and my brother's room. So each room had like a different like flavor. So like my mom was big into soul and gospel, so I got a lot of like the funk stuff, you know, from Sam Cooke, you know, you got James Brown, you know, what she would call the golden era of music, you know, 60s Motown, Berry Gordy. And then my dad is from Jamaica, so I had Buju Banton and Gregory Isaacs, Peter Tosh, Bob Marley. And then my brothers are just my brothers. They're going to play the Wu-Tang. You know, they're going to play Ras Kass, Helter Skelter, KRS-One, Rakim. I got put onto the best. My oldest brother was more to that. My brother Chris was more Bobby Brown, Tevin Campbell. So it was like, you know, I don't want to age myself. I looked up your age. We're about the same age.
Yes.
So we grew up around the same era.
Oh, yeah.
To me, all that music from Teddy Riley is going to make a resurgence. I'm just waiting for it to happen. But especially because I didn't grow up in the 80s a long time, but the 90s was really still a spillover from all the digital stuff. Right. So by the time it became the 90s, people were starting to master the shit that started in the 80s. You know?
Yeah.
You got guys like Dilla and Primo that was really coming out like about to go into the future.
Yeah.
You know, 2000s.
Yeah, facts. That's crazy, man. I'm always fascinated by it too, because it's like we don't really get to choose the first music we're exposed to. You
Facts,
know,
yeah.
We're just crawling around at the crib and it's just given to us. And for you to be in an environment where it's so much quality, you know, spanning the genres, like you say, from each room of your house, it's like some of the best shit ever recorded. Filtering into who you are, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the first music I remember hearing and falling in love with for me was like classic blues, like Muddy Waters.
Howlin' Wolf.
Woo! Howlin' Wolf was like the GOAT to me before I could walk and talk even. Dude. Like when I was a baby, like my parents tell me I'd be like vibrating whenever Howlin' Wolf came on and stuff. And even now, it's like when I hear a Howlin' Wolf joint, it's like a visceral feeling where it's like, oh yeah, like that's part of me. You know what I mean? It's like that's been absorbed into the fibers or whatever. In a
that
real
raised
way.
you. Literally. That's beautiful.
Yeah, totally, man. So
what about like a BB King?
Yeah, come on. Woo!
BB King, that's the one for me.
Yeah, ridiculous, man. Yeah. My dad was into that music, so he'd make like cassette tapes of all the Howlin' Wolf joints and all the Muddy Water joints and stuff, and that's what I was hearing when I was a baby. So, but yeah, that's cool to hear where your taste filters in from, man.
Yeah.
So talk to me about like how you got started actually like getting your hands into making music? Because I know you
Word.
also play various instruments and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, was it rapping first, production first, learning instruments? How'd you
Man.
get going?
I'm glad we talking about this because a lot of people have like, I don't know if there's a Wikipedia or something, but like everybody has a different, oh, he was doing this and da-da-da. I'm like, bro, when I first learned to make music, I was writing like poetry, bro. I was trying to get like girls through poetry, bro. Like,
Hell yeah.
this before I even knew what rap was. I just was like, I'm gonna write this sweet thing about this girl, and then she and I be in a class back then used to write like, "Do you like me?" Circle yes or no. And pass it. I came from that. You know what I'm saying? So poetry was all. I thought a girl would like that, and eventually listening to the music in the house, I was like, man, I want to write, and I did this a lot, hiding it from my family because like I don't know, like. All of our rooms, we in New York, like all of our shit is connected.
Yeah.
So you don't really have no privacy. So like you might be rapping in the corner, low, you know, I'm hiding it from my whole family. And in high school, I started to write and I was like, man, I want to like learn how to record myself.
Yeah.
And then that kind of was the introduction of like, well, how do you make this sound good? Is it like the mic you buy? And I'm like, all right, I'm about to fully be a nerd now. I got to know the difference between dynamics and condenser mics and like what an interface is and all this stuff. And at that time, being an artist in high school, if you weren't successful, I mean, you know, very few people were successful. TikTok and that shit now makes you, that's a reality.
Right.
But back then, no one was. So people were like, what are you doing? Like, you spending all your little money from Foot Locker or you spending your little money to buy this stuff? You're not going nowhere with it. And I was like, bro, I love it so much. And I think in 11th grade, I bought a Roland XV. No, I bought a real XV later. I bought a MV8000.
Okay.
And a lot of people were using the MPC.
Right.
So when I went to studios, I would use the MPC, but I just wanted to be different. And I think RZA endorsed the Roland joint. So I bought that. Yeah. And that's when I first learned to cook up shit. And I was really into Dilla and Pete Rock and all that. And I wanted to learn how to chop samples. So I bought this one piece and I started copping all these like little integrated things. Back then we used sound modules too instead of the plugins. So you would buy like a rack mount and you would buy the sounds from the keyboard because I was like $800 less.
Yeah.
So I was just like cooking up. I moved my studio to my living room. My parents was like, yo, you gotta do something about this shit. Then I had to do it in my brother's house downstairs in the basement. So I moved my studio my whole life. And like, I really fell in love with it because like I always felt like the music that I listened to, I wanted to compete with them, you know, and I wanted to make my family be proud the way that I would see my mom's eyes light up listening to James Brown. Like, damn, that's the joy that like I feel like I can give if I learn and respect the art of music. Yeah. And eventually I got to that point, but you know, that's how I was introduced. I taught myself how to play piano and all that stuff.
Dope.
Yeah.
Incredible, man. Were your parents or like your family members that were around you at the crib, were they supportive of your music as you were getting into it?
I would say Jamaican parents are until you have a check, it wasn't really like a thing. It was like, yo, this is a hobby, you know? But they never were like, nah, like that's the devil. Or that's the devil music. It was more like, yo, where's this going? You know? But yeah, I feel like music for anybody, if I was a parent, I would probably have the same level of concern, like how much are you spending time on this? Is this a realistic job for you? And because I did graphic design and I really like calligraphy and drawing and stuff. So people were like, why don't you do that? Like, you're good at that. And I'm like, well, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that that's your life's calling.
Facts.
I feel like music was the thing that was going to make me smile the most. So even as a kid, I just ignored all the stuff that people said, even if it was like for my best interest. So they thought, you know, I was like, I want to be a rapper. I want to be a multifaceted individual. I want to be somebody that I looked up at, you know, on TV.
Hell yeah. I love it, bro. And I so relate to the like writing the poetry and having to hide it from your family and trying to do it on quiet mode. Like I like
can imagine, bro.
When I finally could like record like my raps and stuff at home, it was the worst thing, dude, because I just have to wait till the house was empty. Like, I was so embarrassed to be cutting my records like in the basement, knowing my parents are hearing me upstairs just yelling some shit that I'm so passionate about, you know? But like,
what is he doing up there?
What? I remember being so terrified to play like my CD. Like, I never would have played my CD for my parents, but they were like, they forced me. They were basically like, what have you been working on? Like, let us hear it. I was like, oh no,
man,
this is like
for you.
Yeah, like I'm swearing on
you
here.
You cursing it? Fucking blah, blah, blah. Like, the first time they hear you say it, they look at you like you shot somebody, bro.
Exactly,
like, I say fuck you people all the time, but it's just when it's in front of your parents, you're like,
I know.
oh shit.
And once it's like cemented on a record too,
It's
like
permanent.
it's different, dude. Yeah.
You know they're gonna play it for their friends too. Like, oh, look at what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
See what he's doing with him and his friends? I'm like,
Exactly.
Especially the shit I was saying at that age.
Yeah.
I was a completely different person. Like,
Really?
I took upon myself to be like, I am Casino. I am Layer Cake. I am Donnie Brasco. Like, I was so much into like mafia movies and shit. I was like, I'm that person.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me, because to me, art and music, it was like, how could they not be relative, right? Like, half of the stuff I listened to in the 90s, we were all obsessed with the mafioso shit. I was my man of the day. We would talk about back then, like a song like Imaginary Players by Jay-Z, or like A Week Ago with Too Short and Jay-Z. I was like, you could tell a story. I'm telling a rapper, you already know, but you could tell a story and be like, I woke up and I got to this place and I opened that and then I got it laced. That it's like, that's so linear. When you have time to write it, you can curtail it. You make this whole like vision of where it's almost like a movie, you know? It's 100%. So vivid because we all know where you're going with it, but it's like, how are you gonna get there? And that's all rap is. It's like, you could just spell it out ABC, but I'm gonna switch the pattern on Tarantino. I'm gonna put the end at the beginning and the beginning at the end, and
on some like Nas Rewind
ooh,
shit. Like,
come on, genius.
That's what it is to me. Nas is my favorite, but and it's because of the cinematography of it. It's like screenwriting, like the imagery, you know, you're just like, oh wow, it's like you're getting dropped into a space, you know.
Halle Berry blew a kiss at the Barbra Streisand concert. It's like, what? Like, what? Nas, like, bro, did that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, it puts you there. It's not like he's there, but we all there because he said it. It just got to be believable, you know?
100%, bro.
Facts.
Yeah. And the specificity of it too. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, whoa, like non-generic. You know, that's what's so captivating too, is like, and I get that from your music too, man. Like the things that you're referencing in your records are so specific to you. At least that's how it feels when I'm listening to it, where it's not something generic that anybody could say. It's like something that's coming from your heart.
Word.
So it resonates. But
respect.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So you're obviously somebody who's studied the greats, and not just in hip hop. I mean, like across the board, right? And that's also evident when I listen to your music. There's this richness to it and this depth to it, where it's like, okay, clearly you're a student of the music. Yeah. I want to ask you this though: do you also, to what degree do you also seek out new music or listen to stuff that's coming out now? If you do, like, what's that balance like for you in terms of stretching yourself, if it is a stretch, to listen to new stuff, as opposed to like, I'm going to go back to the tried and true classics that I know are fire, that I know I love?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me that, because it's hard for me, bro.
Yeah,
like,
same.
We really were blessed. So like, I mean, I could go, when I was a kid, I'd run home from school and I'd turn the radio on, and back then, you know, you had the cassette tape. It would be like that double-decker thing. It had like speakers, whatever. Yeah. And it had two tape decks. It might even had a vinyl on the top of it, CDs and everything. And I had two blank CD cassette tapes. I'd put that shit in. And then I knew that at like 7 o'clock, Funk Flex would play like the new Dre or the new Eminem. And I would load this shit up. And I had my finger on the record button. And like for like an hour, he just playing like Jadakiss and Nas and DMX and Jay-Z. And I was just like, bro, there's no internet, you know? So like, this is my internet. And like, I want something that's going to give me that type of excitement, where this is curated by somebody that knows the music and is going to give me the best of the best. I personally don't want to hear amateur shit. I'm too old, bro. Like, I don't want to hear, and you know what? I'm going to say it on your podcast, where people be capping, he's a kid, let him grow up. It's just... Bro, Nas was a little kid.
Yeah. Nas is like 16, right? Half the shit on Illmatic.
Prodigy was a little kid. Come on, don't give me a little kid shit, bro. These are kids that are years beyond their age, and they never said, they didn't actually want you to refer them as kids. They grown men. Right. The lives and stories that they were telling were grown-ass things. And, you know, when I go to search music now, it got to be my homie that really tell me, bro. Yeah. I can't do the playlist shit, because it might be a fire one, and we like, yo, this is fire. The next one is ass, bro. And it's just like, who is curating this? If it's algorithm based, they have no sense of like how something really, the value it really gives me is based on shit like keys and BPMs, and who cares? And clicks and analytics. But the most lucrative stuff, with the best analytics on the internet is stuff that we laugh at. Right. So we can't gauge music based on that because we're sending it because it's trash.
Yeah.
That's why we sent it, because it's funny.
Exactly, which like unfortunately amplifies it more, you know? And that is one of the big downsides of the whole internet, like this social media situation we find ourselves in, right?
Yeah.
And like, take it from me, like I'm somebody that's benefited a lot from social media platforms. You know, I built my audience.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And everybody has to whatever degree they're comfortable with, right? To build their audience and engage. But the fact that all likes or all views are equal.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're watching it because you think it's trash or you're watching it because you actually want to watch it.
That's a fact.
It's like nobody's differentiating. Like no one's on the back end like, oh, okay, they're making fun of it. Yeah, all right, never mind.
This goes over here in the algorithm. Like, nah, bro. A view is a view.
Exactly.
Remember Soulja Boy would be like, every time you say fuck you to me in my YouTube comment, I get paid 50 cents. He's like, keep insulting me. I'm like, damn, he pioneered this shit.
Wow.
Insult me. He's like the first OG troll master.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's the first of many things, including that.
Come on.
That's crazy. No, it's true though. And you know, it is wild, like this time we find ourselves in. Cause I mean, growing up, it was like I would listen to like one CD at a time, you know, on the Discman.
Yes.
I just had, like, by the time I hit middle school, I was born in 1990. So by the time I got to middle school, it was like 2000, 2001. And I just had this red Discman, Sony Discman, you know, with the anti-skip. So like if you're driving,
you can move around and shit. You can really get crazy with it.
Yeah, like sometimes it would still skip, but yeah. And I had the little binder, you know, with the CDs. I would put the cover in.
The plastic joint. You get the little plastics. Yeah.
Exactly. And it was like, one at a time, man, I would just leave a disc in there like for weeks, you know, and absorb it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know anything else. Like I never would have thought in my mind that like one day it would be possible for me to just access like the full canon of music instantaneously at all times on this computer in my pocket.
Yeah.
So that was just like how I absorbed it. And when I look back, like especially with the context of where we are now, I value that time so much. Because now it's like even my attention span, I felt it narrow.
We all,
you know,
little shorter.
Yeah. And back then it's like the ability to absorb music like to that level where it's like I know every word on some of these records, you know, and like I know everything about them, you know, and I feel like
look at the format too, bro. Right?
Yeah.
You got a whole record, right? That's 12 by 12, right? You put that on. Not only did you have the internet, they shrink. You know, as a designer too, right? You might pay something with so much intricate nuance that it shrink down so small on the screen.
Yeah, you
can't even see that shit.
Right.
Back then, if you drew the littlest thing, one of my favorite, I'm gonna fuck his name up. His name is Mack Klarwein.
Okay,
I think he's German, but he did like Beck. He did Earth, Wind and Fire. Jimi Hendrix. He did Miles Davis' Bitches Brew cover.
Woo!
Amazing. You see that art? If you know those album covers, like they're all this very particular, but it's like that doesn't translate the same on the phone.
Right.
The 12 by 12, you see like, damn, he must have went with a paintbrush at every little.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like the level of detail on that Bitches Brew, like the psychedelic, like
oh my God,
patterns inside of
that'll
it.
Translate on the phone. Not even a computer screen can really do that. So yeah, like you were saying, like that's a time when like our memories are attached to every song that was like momentous to us at that time, right?
Yeah.
And like to me, you lose that because it's not tangible anymore.
Yeah.
So our attention span is competing with somebody else with the I always make a joke, I don't know, I'm trying to think of one now. Just like the little things that pop up on the phone or the thing to make you click it, it'll be like, guy with face tats goes crazy. And you're like, oh, I'm clicking that. I gotta click that.
Florida man eaten by anaconda.
Oh, you gotta click that. But it's like, guy raps his heart out. It's like, maybe not. It's not. It needs more descriptive words to make me click it. You know?
Yeah.
Versus like, I don't know, like I said, this Bitches Brew cover or something. It's just like, you see that shit for the first time and your eyes are glued to it. You know?
Yeah, it's like when you're digging for samples or whatever, and it's like you can tell by the cover, you're like, oh, this has
the heat on it. Facts.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Being able to hold it in your hand like that is special. It's really special, man. Yeah. So I'm curious, man. Like as somebody, you know, like you mentioned, all of us in this contemporary time, we all have to leverage the internet to whatever degree we're comfortable with to engage with our audience. And you're somebody who I've seen use a lot of the tools in a creative way. Like I saw you did like a Reddit Ask Me Anything when your record dropped.
For sure, yeah.
You know, I know you were doing like some Twitch streaming, I think, and stuff like that during the pandemic, which was super dope. what's your relationship personally like with these platforms and these tools that you use nowadays? How do you feel about, where you find yourself as an artist and your relationship with them?
I still try to find ways to use them. I don't want to be a guy left behind in the bitterness. Look at what Jay said about autotune,
Right.
He was wrong. He was wrong. He was wrong. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be somebody that's like not attuned to what's going on. You mentioned Twitch.
Yeah.
I like to integrate anything that has an audience where I can showcase my talent and then they could give me instant like whatever the review is, reaction,
Yeah.
and then I could give you it back.
Yeah.
Something like Twitch really was helpful for me because during the pandemic, people were like, man, this is better than television because
Right.
TV don't talk back to me,
Yeah.
I really like integrating videos and I'm actually developing my own platform right now. So
Dope.
I think all these companies are providing you a service and I'm sure like it's a big thing right now. It's like we're not getting shit.
Right.
Where the companies are making more money than the artists are for our intellectual property. And I feel kind of like just silly if I don't offer them my particular fan base. You have Patreons, you have stuff like that. There's no way to individualize or make something special for them specifically.
Yeah.
You don't want to also be left out of conversations because then if you avoid using Spotify's or YouTube's, then you look like you're not doing well. And
Right.
it's like, wait, maybe those people are being sourced elsewhere. Or it's the same difference between a major and an independent. Somebody
Yeah.
might say, yo, your numbers are low. And I'm like, yo, bro, I make so much more money for my audience, even if it's not as big as the other,
Yes.
because of not like as a sum. So sometimes
Right.
I try to, like with AI and all that stuff, I usually hang out with somebody a little younger than me to put me on.
Yeah.
I'm like, show me some new young people shit, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're using? Moises AI? Okay, cool. That shit is dope. All right, let me use it once and let me see if I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then, I think that music to me has to be at the forefront of all these things, but we came up for in a time when like, I feel like that was the most important thing. Nowadays, the packaging and how it's presented is almost more important than what you're making.
Right.
So I don't want to be ignorant to the things that I feel like are they're the future of where music is headed. But I was watching Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson's Scream video the other day, and I was like, this might be one of the best music videos of all time.
Yeah.
And it was just so not like whatever's going on. And then I look and I scroll on my feed, I'm like, the Y2K design element is abundant everywhere. And everybody's doing the PlayStation graphics and bring it back. It's like the guerrilla style of anything always comes back to the forefront because it's like that reminds people of their very first,
Yes.
It's not the polished shit all the time. It's not the most refined version. It's the gritty shit that people hold on to.
100%. Yeah.
So I understand it all from a distance, and there's certain things I really want to get my hands in, and I think like video streaming, Twitch, anything that creates an audience where they could talk to me and they can feel like they can get some advice, and not just music advice, but just like some real homie shit. You know? I call my fans my cousins for
Hell
that
yeah.
reason too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's dope. And I peeped that too when I was like reading through the Ask Me Anything. It's like your fans in a unique way, I feel really comfortable going to you asking for life advice.
Bro, it's a thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Sometimes it's a little nutty. I was with my shorty, bro. We was at this restaurant in Venice, bro. And this dude was like, yo, I know you're eating. I was like, I'm eating. I'm eating. I'm with my girl. I'm like, yo, chill. He's like, yo, I know you're eating. I'm like, damn, I know it's not gonna end well. He's like, yeah, I don't want to wait for that last bite, but I gotta ask for a pic, bro. And I'm like, damn, the fact that I don't want my girl to think like that's how it is, but that's how it is sometimes. Like they just feel they so excited that I can't believe I saw you, and I don't be outside. So they see me, I'm like a Pokemon, bro. They're like, I can't believe bro's outside, bro. I gotta get a pic.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's nice, but it's also like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Time and place. Yeah,
Time and place,
just
bro.
yesterday I got one on the way into the bathroom, the public restroom.
That's the Eminem shit, bro. Come on, bro.
But it's also funny too, the level of self-awareness to be like, I know you're eating, and I know I should wait till
To
you're
preface it is crazy. Like, yeah, no. I'm like, damn. Now I feel bad because now you told me you have manners and shit.
yeah. But it is a blessing though too, for
blessing.
sure. Like because I just remember being a kid, being like, man, that must be amazing, like to make something that resonates with so many people that when they see you, they can't help but like, they feel connected to you.
Facts.
Yeah. Granted, I'm at the level I'm at. I can't imagine what it's like to be like A-list, like Bieber level, whatever that's like.
Feel for them.
I mean, that must be crazy.
I ain't in there. Admittingly, I don't know if I would ever want to be.
Right.
I think if you, and for you as well, if you continue, we both continue what we're doing, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And I tell my family all the time, like, oh man, you think you could be big? I'm like, when you do good shit, yeah.
Right.
It can. And you have no control over that.
That's the thing. It's like everything has a cost. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, do you really want to be that famous and have to deal with that all the time and like have no real sense of privacy and have to like worry about that? It's like, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to have that level of impact?
Mm-hmm. You got to look at it that way.
Yeah, it's like that's the cost to have that level of impact, right?
Yeah,
that's the sacrifice that comes with it.
Facts.
I would love to shift gears a little bit and talk to you about the book that you just came out with.
Oh, fuck
man.
yeah.
Yeah. I saw the video of you promoting it on Instagram. It looks gorgeous, man.
Thank you.
And I love books.
Me too.
Like, okay, dope. So I got to talk to you about
I'm
this.
a book guy.
I'm a book guy too, and I especially love art books, you know, and like coffee table, like picture books for grown-ups, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And just books where it's like, for me, it's like I can just pick it up and flip to a random page and just get this burst of inspiration.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was seeing what you were coming out with, I was like, oh, this is fire. So talk to me, and I know this is your second book, right?
My third book.
Oh, this is your third. Okay, dope. Yeah, talk to me. So why books and why this one in particular?
So this one is cool. I'm so happy, bro. You said this.
Oh, hell yeah.
My book is called Still Together 4 Flats Later. So like the title was because it was my first tour that I've done by myself. You know, I've been touring for the past 12 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on this tour, and including 4 times the bus that we were in broke down.
Damn.
So I was like 4 flats. I was like, cool. Like I did go to Europe. They call house flats. I thought that was kind of cool. So some rap shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. I actually thought that's what you meant when I first read it, that it had to do with like different apartments you lived in or something.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. In a way, and where I live in LA is my 4th time moving. So there's that.
Okay.
And then Still Together is just the unity of, there was some drama that was going on. Whoever's listening to this that was on tour know what the drama was. It's a little drama that happened, a little spiciness.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but we still together. And I think that even if people don't decode the messaging, the name has to be sticky enough for people to be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And, you know, it really showcased the tour in a sense that like I wanted to be the person to tell those things. I think like a lot of times a company would release a documentary or something, they talk about a period of time. And I think that if you're your own documentarian, you have control of the narrative and you could tell people what it was really like, as opposed to somebody that's a spectator saying what they think happened. I wanted to be at the forefront of the first time I do this, to be like, yo, these are pictures from my phone, bro.
Yeah.
This was this weird girl that said, sniff this in front of me. Here's a picture. Like, you know, that really happened.
Damn.
It was cologne.
What was it? Oh,
it was
okay.
cologne. But
I was scared
but still, though, in the moment, I was like, what the hell is this? And it was like a perfume, but it was like, what the fuck?
Is this drugs? Like, am I gonna
Yeah, what is, you be sniff this. Yeah, like, yeah, so all the photos that I use are taken from all the people that were tour with me.
Yeah.
So I told them make a Dropbox or whatever and dump the photos, and then I went in. You know, I specialized in print design when I was in school, so I'm already familiar with multi-layer pages. Yeah. So I was just thinking about a way to like lay them out that I feel is like a narrative for when I was in America, and then when I got on the plane to go to Europe and do another like 13 shows. So I mean, that I feel like not only am I proud of it, I feel like the tangible part of kind of like we were just saying about the music, and I want to offer something that I always feel is going to make someone feel like they know me. And I think it's hard to do that shit on the internet now. As much as it's popular, as much as we're on a podcast, as much as still something about that first crack of a page, knowing that I might have touched it or somebody might have bundled it up or wrote little personal messages. That shit goes really far, bro. And people really need that. You'd be surprised how much people is waiting for a moment that they could feel connected to an individual. They really waiting for any sense of it, but we're so detached because of the internet. We need to remind them. So I'm glad that even that video touched you, because so many people's like, bro, I don't even want to see what's inside. I just want it to show up to my doorstep and live it with you. And I'm like, that's crazy, bro. Like when I did that shit, I do things off of impulse, but I also do them because they feel right to me. I don't really look for validation from anybody else. I don't know what your sign is. I'm a Leo.
Aquarius.
My best friend's Aquarius. So we in our own shit, bro.
Yeah.
And like sometimes people make it like about them so much where they may be looking for validation from somebody else.
Right.
I'm literally that guy that's like, oh, I already made 9 books.
Yeah.
You're like, what? How come you never talked about that? I was on my 10th book.
Yeah.
I was on the next record. I was on the next freestyle.
Woo.
I was on the next podcast.
Yes.
I don't really stick for too long, and maybe to my own fault, I don't merit myself enough because I'm moving so fast, but I love this shit. And I love people that love good music. I love taste, you know what I'm saying? I love people who spend the extra time to give something back to people.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I love that, bro. I love everything you said. And it shines through, man. It shines through in your music and also in projects like this book. Like, you can just tell how much thought and effort went into it. And that's one of the things, too, that I want to applaud about you, man, is like, it seems like everything that you touch within like your creative offering, like everything from your merch to this book to your records to your website.
Yeah.
It's like, it's all done with so much thought and care. And I know you're very hands-on with every aspect of those things. Your album
Too
covers,
much.
the design. Yeah.
Too much.
Is that a thing? Like, do you want to outsource more of, or bring more people in? Is that hard for you?
It's hard. It's hard for me, bro. The person
tough.
the dude I do my merch with, bro, is literally my homie when I worked at Guitar Center, bro.
That's
I
crazy.
worked at Pro Audio. He worked at Guitars, bro. And I
Damn.
remember we had just did Thug Waffle. And I wasn't in the video, but I produced a song and shit. And people was like, oh, you're not in the group because you're not in the song. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Come on.
So the bro was like,
It's like Preem wasn't in Gangstar.
that's what I'm saying. What exactly? It's like, how could you say that? And bro was like, yo, that shit going crazy right now. You should quit. I'm like, what am I going to do? He's like, you should just leave. Like, fuck this job, bro. Like, we all want a moment like you're having right now, which is like, your shit is going at that, I mean, viral. I don't know if that was a thing back in that time, but whatever viral was, it was doing that.
Yeah.
And we would race to 1 million streams, and I quit. And he quit eventually, and he moved to Canada, and me and him kept in contact. He did some merch for us, and now this is my homie that I do all my merch with for me still to this day. And I just met him at work, you know?
Yeah.
He's one of my closest friends now.
Awesome.
So how can I replace or add to that? Like, if you don't have a narrative with me, a story, it's hard for me to just get resumes and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Or being in like a label situation where you're just given a team. You
Nah,
know? Like,
bro,
can you imagine?
yeah.
Like, it's just
Can't
like,
do
okay,
it.
these are all the people that you work with now that are going to like build your dream.
yeah.
It's like, really? I just met this person.
Bro,
Like,
and I worked at record companies.
really?
Yeah, I worked at Sony Music in college. I did some stuff for Kamado Records and Mexican Summer Records too. These were all design jobs.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, a lot of people say, oh, they like. I'm like, bro, because I did it. Like and respectfully, you know, I get it. It's a big system and stuff, but when you in a pipeline, they tell you the person that they gonna make your art. You have a choice, but they have like 4 prompts they made already.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, them shits is AI too.
Oh, yeah. That's
and then they're
ChatGPT
like,
all the
pick
way.
one.
Right.
Which lean cup do you want on your cover?
Right.
You want the act? You want which one you want? We got a couple flavors. Like, oh, it's not like somebody coming there talking like how we talking and chopping it up with a pen. That's me, you know?
Right.
All my friends that did all my stuff, they all are like me in the sense that they want to have a conversation before we even pick up an instrument.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I'm glad you say it shows through because sometimes I wonder, but I also was just like, you know, on to the next.
Yeah.
But I do wonder that because I care a lot, bro. Like, you know.
Oh, it definitely resonates, man. It definitely resonates.
That means a lot coming from you too.
Oh, man. Hell yeah,
Appreciate
bro.
that.
Of course, man. I want to talk too a little bit about your background, like in graphic design and visual arts. I know you also draw, right? And do other kinds of visual art. How does that influence like your artistry as a musician? Do you see those as just the same thing or different sides of the same coin in terms of visual art and audio?
They're one and the same. I think when I'm creating the music, I'm already envisioning that part.
Yeah.
Because they're not separate. They're so much together that I have to think about them simultaneously, which is why it's hard for me to give that to somebody because I'm already like, well, and I'm not like artsy fartsy. This song is pink and it needs to have polka dot. It's literally like, yo, bro, like, who am I talking to?
Right.
And like, you know, I know even when I first did my album cover, I was like, I'm gonna go black and white, right? And I know that, you know, the psychology behind that to me is what year was this taken in? Yeah. And to me, timelessness is black and white. It's not colorful to me. All of our pioneers, whether they're maybe instrumentalists, rappers, activists.
Yeah.
They got that one black and white photo.
Facts.
And I wanted like 30 of them on my cover because
Yeah.
I was like, well, which version of me is going to show up? And then when I did the design for it, if you look at the back of the vinyl, it has spaces and numbers. So basically, which version of me is the person you associate with that section, almost like a checkerboard. But like these are all things that I thought about initially because I was like, well, this is going to be the most diverse work I've done.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to showcase on my first album all the styles of music, not all, but most of them that I'm into. And I'm going to take a photo, I'm going to do a photo shoot with my boy and like, we're going to show each version of my style and not just like a preppy one, but more sporty one. And like, all of this was thought about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the music was happening at the same time. And ironically enough, I moved to LA almost 6 years ago. There's songs on this album, more than one or two, that was made before I moved here.
Wow.
So there's songs in there from over 6 years ago, bro.
Damn.
The couple James Blake's ones I did, a few of them were from before I moved to LA.
Crazy.
So, you know, that's real art to me. Like,
Yes.
it's not just what I recorded last month. This is a real sense of growth and like what you can do. And you know how it is. You might have an old joint you did and it's just like, that's old. Like,
Right.
bro, nobody heard this. So
Right.
how old is it?
It's new to everybody.
It's new till right now until I let
Yeah.
the cat out, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy, bro. And it's so dope. And it's actually so relevant to what we were mentioning just a moment ago about the record covers being shrunken down. My man Mikey came through with the vinyl and I was holding it and I was like, damn, this is crazy.
different.
Because I'd only ever seen it in the shrunken down, like on a screen.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know you had the letters of the cover underneath each of the photographs.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
I didn't even, so there's details that, to your point, you just can't see it, that small form factor. And it's crazy. So everybody watching this, go get the vinyl.
Come
go get the
on,
shit
go
on
get
vinyl.
Need that.
I want to talk to you a little bit like about your creative process, you know, when you're working. What comes first for you, beats or lyrics? Music or lyrics, I should say.
I guess the lyrics.
Lyrics first?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but I was actually going to ask you this because
Yeah.
I seen a lot of your freestyle, so I'm wondering.
Right.
You don't have to say it here. We can edit this part
No,
out.
come on, man.
But like, when I'm writing,
Yeah.
I write backwards.
Yes.
And that helps me think, if I were to freestyle with you right now, I'm thinking of the word that I'm going to say and I work backwards. So I
Yeah.
know the phonetics or the sound of the word, even if it don't rhyme, I know that I want to land on the word vocoder. So I get older and my vocoder, I'm a soldier, then I told her,
Yep.
open the brochure. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and I'm just finding these little words. And for me, I have like a note in my phone where I just write down words that I think sound nice.
Yeah.
And even song titles or concepts for music that I haven't put out yet.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's just private for me, I do it in Moleskins too.
Yeah.
But like, they're just like little like phraseologies, or I don't know if that's a fucking word or not. We rappers.
That's a word now,
It's
dog.
a word now. We rappers. Little things, little anecdotes.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
like, man, this is beautiful. Maybe I'll use that. And I write it before the music is made, and
Yeah.
I might even be playing piano, or I might be by a homie's crib,
Yeah.
and I'll go reference that one moment. I also take real life experiences all the time,
Yeah.
especially something that I talked about with a homie for a long time. For some reason, that sticks with me. Like, if we really chopped it up about some shit, I guarantee you the next thing that I write will have even if it's not right in your face, I could tell the person, yo, bro, that was when you said this. He's like, oh
Yes.
shit. Like, I can't help it. It's literally the thing most present on my mind. I gotta
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, and I was chopping on the phone or FaceTime till my phone died. I just thought of that right now.
Yeah.
I was on the phone before I came here. But that's something that, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. 100%.
it's, as a creative, I feel like I'm always looking for inspiration, and it only dies when you stop caring.
Yeah.
And I think the older you get, your imagination starts to get drained.
Yeah.
You know, I keep toys around. I watch movies with the sound off. You know, I like to read while I'm writing too. So there's one book I don't want to tell you because I don't want bosses to listen to read it. But it's a book that I like to read sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm writing, because it just
Okay.
has interesting words in it.
Yeah.
And it's a person that writes from different personalities.
Okay.
So because you could flip it to a random page, he might be mad this time. He might
Right.
be angry this time. Might be sad. And it's just like, what the fuck? And it's
Yeah.
just from a writer. So he's already prolific in what he's saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm constantly looking for ways to picture writing. Production is like a whole. I don't listen to a lot of new music to inspire me. Mainly because I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to really feel that you're gonna be better than the Herbies and Stevies. It's hard for me. Like I'm spoiled. You know.
I know. Yeah. I feel similar because it's like I look at like the old classic records. Whether it's, I'm really into jazz as well. I'm a drummer too, so it's like
I didn't know that. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm a drummer. I
Yeah.
gigged as a jazz drummer for years.
Fuck
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so
That explains actually a lot. Now that you said that,
that's like 90% of it, dude.
Yeah, that explains a
my
lot,
freestyle
bro.
shit. Most of it comes from a lot of it comes from playing the drums.
Hell
but
yeah.
yeah, to me, it's like the old classic records are like onions, and you can just keep peeling back forever. You know, so it's like when I'm posed with that question, I'm like, yo, do you want to check out this new thing? Like, you might like it. It's like. But then it's like, or like I could just like listen to Illmatic for like the 10,000th time,
right?
and I'm gonna hear something new.
Yeah, fact.
And I'm gonna like learn more. I'm gonna be like, oh my
Primo's
god,
going crazy on this, but it's like, yo, you heard this so many times, but it's like, for right now, it's brand new.
Exactly. So I feel that, and so much of what you shared too about your process for lyrics resonates with me. Like freestyling to me is like completely about keeping the inner child alive.
Yes.
It's play.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, it's supposed to be fun. I mean, and of course, there's times we want to talk about some deep, meaningful shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're always just joking and like lackadaisical with it or whatever. But like, I never would have started doing it when I was 10, you know, if I wasn't like, that looks fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that looks amazing. Whatever's happening right now on this 106 and Park Freestyle Friday. Like,
Facts.
these dudes
Come on.
freestyling and
Come on,
like.
Jen.
Yeah,
Come
come on,
Jen.
bro.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say? You claim you nicer than me, son. Here's a reminder. Oh, you want to say I'm Chinese, homie? Here's a reminder. Check your Timbs. They probably say made in China.
Yeah.
Just like having that
Bro.
off LimeWire and just being like,
Bro.
what is happening?
I used to run home to watch Freestyle Fridays,
Oh
bro.
yeah, dude. Woo. Crazy. But shout out to Jen too.
Shout out to
Beast.
Jen.
Beast.
Facts.
But yeah, like if that didn't look like fireworks to me, and like then why would I even think about starting to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so keeping that energy alive, and it is harder. Like while you get older, you get more responsibility. You kind of like get more hip to kind of the darker parts of humanity and
Yes.
the world, you know, and all of that kind of starts to chip away at this like inner child.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, it's just like freestyling is all about me sort of harnessing my inner child and making sure that like he's good, you know, like that
Yeah.
young spirit.
That's
inside.
the little you, like,
exactly.
go play, bro.
Exactly.
Do you find it that people tell you, just chill, bro. Just like people tell, because I resonate with this. Like me having fun is not necessarily working, but it's work related.
Yeah.
And I get like, bro, you're on vacation, chill.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm still sampling shit, bro. I still got my phone out and shit. People just like, yo, bro, turn it off. And I'm like, why? Like, if that's my sense of enjoyment, I think that a lot of it, not to get too deep, but so much insecurity is we're so fucking fragile, bro. Like, this whole, even right now when I'm creating my new project, I'm like, damn, I want my shorty to be able to talk over my shit and me not get mad. And I'm not saying she don't like it. I'm saying that as a lyricist, as us being lyricists, as rappers, I'm like, you didn't hear what I just said?
Yeah.
I said this, this, and this. And they're like, I like the beat.
Right.
And you know what? To be honest with you, whether you made the beat or not, that is very important. And to me, I think that because we focus so much on that, it inherently makes us be like, if you didn't notice what the time and effort that I put into this nuanced word or moment, that I failed. Right. And I want the whole hip hop community to like me and but I'm like, I am a fan of music. Yeah. And one of my favorite albums is probably Voodoo, right?
Yeah,
D'Angelo.
Woo.
I mean, come on, like classic. Yeah. Does it have 10 million records sold? It doesn't. Right. Will it ever? Probably not. Right. Why? Because it's eclectic and different. Right. Not that
good.
Bruno Mars or whoever is not. It's a different kind of music. It's like, well, if we're making music, jazz in general is very hard to be successful in America. You go to Europe, people are doing full stadium tours off of jazz music. Facts. We love jazz. So I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Kamasi Washington. Bro, this guy. People are like, who's that? And there's no disrespect to this person. It shows you that because something is so complex, sometimes it's the onions we were talking about. Yes. It's like, that's not for everybody. When you a rapper, you really get your pen off. You like, yo, bro, everything I gotta say gotta be so prolific. What's most important is that people feel you, bro.
Yeah.
And that could be saying less, bro.
Yeah.
When I first heard Electric Circus or like Water for Chocolate and Common, that is a different Common than Common on B. Common on B is I can make hits, bro. I never, because we work with Ye, it was almost like he was given a pass to do different type of styles that I feel like were holding him back from being more relatable to more people.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. We shun it because we're lyricists, bro. It's like 36 Chamber, like, bro, when they did Gravel Pit, that was a different vibe when RZA did that.
Yeah.
When he did Ice Cream, it was a different vibe. But you have to have the pen really is prolific when you show me how much range you got.
Yes.
Not just necessarily just dropping bars, because that shit going over most people's heads, bro.
True.
It's just the truth.
It is, man. And it's like, and it is it's sometimes hard to get there, right? As somebody who values lyrics so much and you know, is so, like you say, like obsessing over every syllable and wanting people to hear all, it's like, there's some like Royce the 5'9" line where he talks about like you hold your breath when you listen so you don't miss a bar, you know? Sometimes I feel like that when I'm listening to my shit with people. It's like, I don't even want to, I don't want a tiny rustle of leaves, you know, like might interrupt when I'm trying to
disturb anything. I'm like frozen in,
yeah, it's like,
Facts.
did you, and then like out of the side of my eye, I'm like, you
caught that?
reacted? Like, no, you might not have got, but at the end of the day, bro, at the end of the day, it's like, my view is that the purpose of music is to connect.
Yeah.
You know, with human beings. Like, that's what we're doing, right? It's like, we're all having this crazy, weird, like complicated human experience, and we can only view it through our own eyes, and we can only feel it through our own body. And it's like, I'm sitting in this room and I'm like reaching out, like, yo, do you feel it? You know what I mean? It's like I'm reaching out to somebody else. Or when you're on stage, it's like you're reaching out to all these people, like, do you feel something like what I'm feeling while I try to navigate this thing?
Right.
And that's connection, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like, not to get overly deep or ethereal with it, but it could be the most complicated lyrical thing in the world, and that might connect with somebody on a certain level, or it could be the simplest lyric ever concocted, you know?
Jay-Z got crazy over the head shit. I'm in Aaliyah, closer to Aaliyah. Man, Aaliyah, like the double entendres.
Yeah.
Lupe had one, I'm far from you industry chumps, and you far from the hood like limousine trunks.
Ooh.
It's just like, damn, bro. Like,
fire.
And somebody else is like, I don't get it. And you're like, oh, he fucking can't. And that person, you got to be the person to be like, cool, next bar or next song. Like, like I said, I feel like that's the only way we gonna grow is to really be like, cool, I'm gonna hit you with another one. Here's another dart I'm throwing at the board. Or, you know, maybe that didn't get you. Maybe the delivery of this next bar is gonna be the one to get you.
Yeah.
You know?
And you never know, right? And I find sometimes it's like whenever I'm like, yo, this is crazy. That's the ones where people are like, yeah, it's cool. And then, and then when I'm like, I don't think, then you'll just be playing something random and they're like, oh, what's this? You're like, it's nothing.
That's the one. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Jay-Z got one. I'm like a dog. I don't speak, but I understand. It's like,
Facts.
It's not the one we're gonna put on the but it's like it's still a bar.
Yes.
It made you say, oh shit, I never thought of you know, or it's not a bar, but DMX saying, and I never gave a fuck about much but my dog. When you think it coming from DMX, you're like, damn, man's best friend he embodied the character of a dog.
Yeah.
So for him, this is a bar. If I said that, it would just be something I said.
Right.
So context is important too, who it comes from, you know?
Huge. Yeah, DMX saying that is profound.
As fuck.
Yeah, it's like, holy shit, like, wow. And you think about his life experience.
Experience growing up, you're like, damn, that's some deep shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And he means that, literally. There's layers because it's obviously a momentous thing, but it's coming from somebody who's that associated with dogs. It's like, damn, bro, like, some deep shit.
Facts. Man, that's crazy. All right, I wanted to ask you too, while you're here, this show is called Flow State, obviously. When do you experience, or do you experience something like Flow State where you're like deep in the zone when you're creating? And what's that like for you, you know?
Call it God flow, right? I know this happens to you, right?
Yeah.
You could be writing. You could be in a moment. Yo, bro, what is food, bro? What is water, bro?
Yeah.
Your phone done rang 90 times. People FaceTime you. People think something is wrong with you. They might be like, yo, I didn't hear from you. To me, that's flow state, bro. It's almost like eidetic memory. It's no, it doesn't require writing it down. It's like how Tesla thought. It's like this is beyond something you can understand. It's beyond tunnel vision even. It's a moment when you and whatever you believe are talking to each other one-on-one.
Yeah.
You gotta look at something as spiritual as God or what you believe in.
Yeah.
If it's a Santa Claus gotta go to everybody's chimney and drop a present off. But for that moment while he's eating the cookies and shit on the table,
yeah,
you're the most important person to Santa. When you look at a spirit like God, everybody wants something from him. And you got to say the words that speak to everybody. So if you get a moment to speak to him or her, whatever you associate with, pay attention. And phones, money, politics, all that shit doesn't mean anything at that moment, bro. Like, I pray for those. I feel like that's how hit records are made. I feel like that's how speeches are made. I feel like anything that was a pinnacle in history was made was because you spoke to somebody that was beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree, bro. I agree. Yeah. I think anytime, that's beautiful, by the way, man, the way that you frame that.
I just thought of that right now.
That's crazy. I'm glad we recorded it.
Thanks.
Oh, man. No, it's so true, man. I feel like my best, like for me personally, my best moments creatively, it's almost like, it's hard for me to even take credit. It's like, I don't know. I was just there and like the shit happened, you know, it flows, it really flows through. And yeah, losing track of time, losing consciousness of yourself, like just being completely in it.
You almost don't even really remember it. That's how you know you was really in your fucking bag. Like, you don't, it's like vivid. You kind of remember like beginning it, but like not finishing it. There's little shit you might dance around and you don't, you know, it's not clear. You know, it's that's how you know you lost yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have, I don't know, like rituals, routines, maybe like parameters that you can set up that help increase the likelihood that you're going to hit that flow?
There's a couple things. I don't smoke weed no more. So it's about to be 2 years that I've been sober or from weed. I drink sometimes, but even that's slowing down.
Yeah.
You know, body getting different, getting a little older. You gotta chill with your habits, you know?
Yeah, bro.
So that used to be my shit. I'll roll up and I play the beat when I'm rolling up.
Yeah.
My shit. And you know, depending on how you rolling up, depending on what you bought that day, this gonna affect your rhymes, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's that. But then once that habit was removed, I had to find new ways. My shit and it's whatever, you know what I mean? This worked for me.
Yeah.
Yo, is waking up mad early.
Yes.
And getting a tea. You know, I go into my studio and I don't use social media at all. Like I check my phone for my text because you know how it is. If the shit don't ring when you feel like, damn, nobody thought about me while I was sleeping. There's that. Go through that.
Yeah.
And then put your phone down, face down. You drinking a tea, bro. And I put on nostalgia. Nostalgia. I watch wrestling. I watch all the 90s and 2000s wrestling.
Yeah.
So people could say whatever, bro. The Attitude Era of wrestling is some of the most raw TV ever. And when you find out about like WCW and bro, wrestling has been the inspiration for me in the morning and sometimes when I go to sleep. But not the new shit, no disrespect to them. It's just that there was something raw about people not giving a fuck that inspires me to write music. It's because I have to remember, cancel culture, I get it's real, but like, yo, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Just do it first. Nobody's here. You're by yourself in this fucking room. What the hell are you so worried about?
Yeah.
Let's remove the distractions and let's watch something that's going to evoke raw emotion. So it's wrestling, but it's also like weird ass movies that are probably get me canceled, you know, or weird, you know, or just weird things that I think that the artist is being so pure that I'm like, am I being my full self right now?
Right.
That usually sets me up for success because even if a phone call does come or I am on Instagram, I kind of look at it subjectively like this person is like totally acting.
Yeah.
This person is not at their peak of their confidence. I can just see through it. It's almost like I took psychedelics or some shit because I feel like I am so perceptive that I could see beyond what's in front of me. I'm looking for something deeper because I've already set my mindset, you know, to be like, am I really being myself? And I think me watching other people truly be themselves authentically, even if it's like acting like wrestling, art, entertainment, it's still with an approach of I don't give a fuck.
Yes.
And I don't give a fuck, set my day up with the tea. Because then your voice, your chakras, everything is right.
Right.
Yeah. And because I use a nice mic, everything is turned on. every synth is turned on in my studio.
Yeah.
Every mic, everything.
Just patched in, ready
to go.
Yeah,
because if
fine.
that's not happening, now you're inspired, but you got to turn everything. Now, using a microphone that got to heat up.
Right.
Now you really fucked up.
Because you got a tube mic.
You got a tube mic.
Okay, yeah. See, and that's the thing, man. People think, first of all, amazing routine, bro. I might have to borrow some that nostalgia element. I never thought about.
Nostalgia, always.
Yeah. I also I stopped drinking and smoking weed completely.
Congrats.
5 years ago. Thank
Congrats.
you, man. Yeah. Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Congrats to you too, man, on your journey. 2 years without cannabis. Yeah, it was a interesting journey for me, but yeah, I just felt blocked up. I overdo things, you know what I mean? I have that, I'm obsessive, so if it can be really cool if it's the right thing and it's leading me in the right direction, but it can also get in my way. And yeah, the no phone in the morning thing was revolutionary for me too, or minimal phone as little as possible, and definitely not endless scroll.
Yeah.
Nothing that opens up an endless scroll, because that's just
dangerous.
Dangerous, man.
Dangerous.
But
especially when the shit you like.
What's that?
Especially when the shit you like.
I know, and they're always giving you shit that you like, because they're in your brain, and it's like, what? How'd you learn me so
How'd
fast?
you know that?
Why are you only showing me vintage synthesizers and gear that I want to buy?
Yeah. And they had it shop now at the bottom. I'm like, fuck. Now it's easier to leave and
yeah. But I will say, man, I got to first off incorporate some nostalgia. That's a dope idea. I love that. And also, yeah, one of the things that I've had to learn and accept is that optimizing workflow, how you say everything's patched in, everything's ready at all times, that's not bougie. You know, because I used to be oh, why am I going to buy this interface with this many inputs and do all these fancy things? I should just be able to go around there and unplug it and move it. No, dude. I feel like the thing that has destroyed more amazing songs than anything else is having to go around behind a thing and unplug
it. That's a fact.
That is the ultimate flow state killer.
100%. Because you're especially if you're recording somebody, that person is there bro, you're come on, bro. I'm
in suspended animation with the greatest thing, trying to keep it alive.
They're really trying to stay hurry up, turn it on, get it, bro. I'm or you're playing an instrument, you're sitting there trying to remember how you played it. It's because I was an engineer too.
Yeah.
I think any producer has done some engineering too. So it's you recording an artist and this person, you can see it in their eyes, yo, bro, just put the mic on, and you're cool. I was already recording secretly,
Exactly.
Little shit like that. You're yo. Damn, yo, the mic was on. No, I got it, actually.
Yeah.
But I was just fucking around. I'm nah, this is the take you should use.
Exactly. And it usually is, man. It's Miles Davis was 1 take, 2 takes max. After 2, it's done.
Max.
We're not doing the song.
D'Angelo said the same too. He said he was speaking at in Eastern Parkway. It was a Q&A he had years ago. I went with one of my homies, and
dope.
He was talking about the album. He had Quest, he had other people there that worked on the album, and
crazy.
He was taking questions, and somebody asked him yo, and maybe the root or one of the songs, what did you say at 2 minutes and 20 seconds? This has been killing me. I play the song all the time. What did you say? He was
Yeah.
I was what do you mean you don't know? He was I don't know. I caught my first take. So whatever it is in my first take is what I said, and then I just add on top. I don't go back and he's that's why I don't know what I said, because I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm what the fuck? That changed my whole thing too. I do 3 takes.
Yeah.
If it's something real punchy and stuff, where the cadence is so important, I'll say it too. I got 1 take is my first take. That's a take I use.
Yeah.
The second take is the take that I'm trying to catch the pocket that I think that I should be in.
Right.
And the third one is all swag. So I'm swagging the third one the fuck out, and then I comp those 3 takes. So you gotta take that's how you initially feel. You gotta take this in the pocket, and you gotta take this I really know I'm him.
Yeah.
Those 3 together is the magic.
Yeah.
You pick the words or the little breaths and shit that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that. What's one song off your record that everybody listening to our podcast right now should go bump as soon as this is done?
Ezekiel's Wheel featuring George Clinton. You gotta play that. I just got off tour with the band L'Impératrice from France, and I have a song there, album called Sweet and Sublime. You should also run that one. But I told them, because it was my first time opening for somebody. I told them look, every time I perform this song, George Clinton comes into the room with me, whether it was in the studio or in front of 2,000 people tonight. So let's bring him.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, every time I did it, I felt chills. Every time. It's something about the storytelling, and it's a beat. Shout out to Matt Zara who produced it. It's a beat that has no loops. So the only thing that loops is the drums because it's drums.
Right.
But the rest of it is changing. There's no frame that's repeated.
Wow.
So I did it naturally. You know, you got a song like Still Shining with Dilla and Busta Rhymes. That always inspired me. I wanted one like that. Dilla supposedly did the drums live. So when he recorded it, it has little hiccups.
Yeah.
And Busta was like, I don't know why I can't write. He's like, oh, by the way, this one is going to give you a little trouble. You got to write to each part of the beat because it's all like, he's like, oh. One of my favorite Busta songs.
Such a crazy joint too, and the way the lyrics interlock with the
and it hit you with that, and it's like the snare. Oh,
that's one of the greatest moments. That's like to me one of the greatest moments in hip hop. That exact moment I'm talking about when it goes with the drums. Yeah. Because
then that's the producer and the artist. Like, yeah, we won right now.
Woo.
Yeah, bro.
No, that's legendary though. With the George Clinton joint is so fire, man, and to work with somebody of that caliber, like, what's that like, man? To work with George Clinton.
I'll even tell you this, bro. It's crazy because shout out to Rude Cat who also worked on the song. He wrote the hook. The original track I wrote it. A lot of it I was on a plane. At the time I was still smoking weed.
Right.
So like I think I might have smoked before I took the flight. You know how that go.
Yeah.
And then I just had all these thoughts. Something about being that high and that high is just like, what the fuck?
right.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Like, and I named it something like airport something or whatever. Yeah. And I remember when I landed, I hit my mans. I was like, yo, bro, I need you to write something that is like da 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 da. And he was like, cool. And he recorded the thing with Ezekiel's will. And I was like, yo, bro, he grew up in church like me. So there was a lot of biblical stuff attached to it. Yeah. We never want to force nothing down people's throat, but we always want to put people onto things that inspire us. And I think gospel has been the root of all music, including blues and soul. It's like the forefront of all of it. And I was like, man, this is so potent. I'm talking some shit though. So let's make sure that people could feel this message. And I was like, who is the person that we could channel to help us tell the story? I swear on everything, bro. The part that George is on, he sang throughout the whole song, but the part at the end, I wrote a fake like monologue thing and I imitated him before I even knew who he was. Wow. And I put it there. This is some real manifestation shit. I put it there and I was saying some Atomic Dog type shit. And I was like, this is the part that he gonna do. I swear to you. I can't tell you how much longer, maybe a week or two. I got a call from a photographer that works with this clothing brand. And he asked me if I wanted to come to the studio to shoot pictures with George Clinton. Wow. Swear to God. And when I got there, I was like, yes. And when I got there, I didn't know like what. I didn't really know much anything. I know he worked with my friend Juwan from Black Odyssey. Okay. And he had a song with him and Benny the Butcher. And I was like, bro, I can't even. You probably hear this all the time, but like, you raised me, bro. Like, you are one of the, not of all time, living especially. You are one of the most important living figures of music.
Facts.
And he's like, thanks, man. And I was like, damn, I didn't know if he was going to get real deep or not. He just seemed like a real deep guy based on his music.
Right.
And then I said, yeah, bro, you work with one of my friends, Juwan, Black Odyssey. He goes, Benny's got a gun, which is the chorus that he wrote. And I was like, damn, for an old guy, his shit is sharp.
Right.
Then he's like, Griselda. I was like, oh, shit.
Damn, he
started talking about Griselda. I was like, nah, bro. I'm going to ask him to get on the song right now. I was like basing it off of his interest in what's popping. Yeah. So if he knew that, I was like, yo, bro, can you be my album? He's like, yeah.
Wow.
He's like, send the record. And I was like, he went on tour, which is crazy, 82, 83. He said, after I finish my tour, I got you. And that's what he did, bro.
Wow.
I think I smoked with him that day, too, in a photo shoot. So, like, the hat I wore in the photo shoot, he said only me and him and Snoop Dogg wore it ever.
Damn.
So I had all these, like, feelings hitting me. And I was like, bro, this is like a moment in time, you know?
That's a moment.
Then all of that, I feel it every time, no matter how much times I perform the song. Every time I feel that emotion, you know?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, bro.
Powerful, bro. Man, so dope, dude. It's so awesome to have you on here, and I just appreciate you sharing so much about yourself and your story, man. And
sure, thank you.
Blessing the pod.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of your stuff, man, and will remain a fan. And I guess just to close this thing out, I also wanted to ask, like, what's next for you, man? What's on the horizon? Are you working on anything currently? Where are you trying to take it? Where are we going from here?
Shit, man. I got into some music scoring last year. I scored this thing. This is a documentary about Dilla and Dres from Black Sheep.
Yeah, I heard about that. I gotta peep that, man.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
not hip.
dope. It's on Paramount Plus. It's
Hell
called
yeah.
The Choice Is Yours.
Okay.
That was my first time really doing something at that level. I'm working on the score for one of my friends' independent films as well.
Dope.
I'm still producing for a lot of people, so I'm nurturing that part of me, which is like this itch of helping another person with their vision.
Yeah.
But then doubling down, helping myself. I'm now working on my next album. I don't even know how to really. The success of my first album had, I learned so much about how those records translated on stage. Performing at Coachella with Jungle, watching this record really. I mean, I think it's almost 3 years old now. It feels crazy. Almost, maybe like 2.5 or 2.
Yeah.
Seeing the success of the music that I've helped other artists be to feature on, even the Lime Peatrice record, a lot of dance, upbeat, good stuff. I was like, yo, bro, like as much as the world is heavy right now,
Yeah.
I want to make something to make people feel good.
Yeah.
And this is the first time in my life that I felt as healthy as I've been mentally and physically. And I want to make music that makes people kind of forget that how heavy the world is right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm going to produce for a myriad of artists and movies and stuff, but the music that I want to put out next is really to make people, one, kind of feel good about themselves, but two, to remind people that I've been doing this shit for a long time, and I don't fear no rappers. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Like all the lyrical shit we was talking about, how important, yeah, but I'm one of them, and I don't understand why, like, I'm not brought up out more.
Yeah.
But that's about to change too, because I think that, like we were just saying, the music I've never made a project that was focused on one thing.
Right.
I'm the architect, right? So it's like, oh, he makes reggae and he makes that. Nah, this is like, he's rapping.
Yeah.
He's rapping and he's making people feel good about themselves.
Hell yeah.
So that's the next shit for me.
Let's go,
Yeah.
bro. I
Yeah.
can't wait for that shit, man.
on.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Erick the Architect,
Come on, my
man.
bro. Appreciate
Let's
you,
go.
bro.
Thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you, bro.
Incredible.
Hell yeah.
Incredible. So, yeah, we always close this show out with a freestyle, man. I'm going to take some of the inspiration from what we talked about and try to channel it into some bars.
Hell yeah.
I actually pulled up one of your beats, man, from
Come
one of your
on.
beat tapes. I would love if you're down to like throw me words, whatever.
I got you.
Just lob some stuff over in real time, man.
I got you.
We'll make something happen.
Yeah.
Let's put these headphones on. Yeah. Check.
Yo. Damn,
Volume
that shit
cool?
clear as fuck.
Yeah, we coming in clear. We in the flow station, baby.
I'm so curious to see which one you pick.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious, too, because I don't know, like, instrumentals on your beat tapes, do you envision people rhyming on them ever? Or are you like, these are just meant to be instrumental works?
I want people to rap on it.
Okay, dope. All right, sick. That's why I asked you ahead of time, because I would never want to be like, you're like, yo, this was never meant to have vocals on it, dog. Like,
Hell no.
all right, sick. Let's get it. We good over here? Yeah, you guys are good. All right. Let's get it. I'm gonna drop it and just hit me with a word while it's building up or something.
Got you.
Okay.
Period. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. Hey. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. What you got?
Nostalgia.
Okay, yeah, ain't nobody rapping this way. Nostalgia, we gon' take you back in the day. Right to the nearest microphone, I'm a beeline. Cinematography like Nas did with Rewind. We about to start this at the finish. Bring it back to the beginning, it can't be diminished. Peep the way I do it, y'all know I'm off the head so absurd. Mack don't ever wrestle with words, but
Final.
still, I keep it raw. My message is final, sounds good like the dusty crackle of the vinyl. Anytime I'm in the session, y'all know that I'm winning like a record on the turntable, got your head spinning.
Synthesizer.
Yeah, and you know I keep my flows live. Gotta have the vinyl to see the cover in full size. I don't write it, I just improvise. Through my mental, many different sounds are getting synthesized. I'm blowing minds with the true flows. I'm earning kudos. I might do this up on the Juno by rolling. I might controlling. You know I gotta use the tangible fader. This man's not no hater.
Miles
I'm
Davis.
excelling with love. Y'all know that my style's the greatest. Trying to improvise on trumpet like I'm Miles Davis. Yeah, my flow's enriching you. I'm psychedelic like the cover art for Bitches Brew. Keep the way that we maneuvering. Y'all know I got illy dope poems. I bring the rhythm like I'm Philly Joe Jones. In fact, I drop it low like bass tones done by Paul Chambers. Whenever I be rhyming, yo, I'm expressing my anger. I'm improvising like Coltrane, leaving your soul slain. When I be spitting saliva that's lava, it be hitting like propane. I'm lit when I'm all up on it, ain't heard no one harder yet. Peep the blueprints because I'm sitting with the architect.
Funkadelic.
Yeah, y'all know that these rappers played out like relics. My flows are funkadelic. I smoke mics like parliaments. That's a cigarette. Compared to all competition, I'm a bigger threat. Never no losing. This is more win than Mack brings the funk. Something like George Clinton.
Harry Mack.
Yeah, and they running like some scaredy cats. Other suckers barely rap. Y'all in tune with Harry Mack. Sitting next to Erick. Once again, y'all get injured for sure. I've never been here before. We entering new territory. End the story. Situation gets gory like flicks by Tarantino. I'm living out my dream flow. Shit you never seen though. Till I get my senior, I'ma flow like Aquafina. And every time I'm rhyming, y'all know that I'ma elevate. They throw confetti in the air. I think it's time to celebrate. Yo,
George
Erick for
Romero.
real. Thanks for blessing the show. One more time.
George Romero.
George Romero, y'all know I'm on point like arrows. Every time I spit, my flows fly like sparrows. I'm about to blow your mind now with the strong verse. Word to your kicks, cause Mack's an all-star like Converse. I'm here right now, spitting it sick. They ain't ready for this. He's repping the coat for the Knicks. From New York to Los Angeles, we doing damages indeed. We got everything that y'all need. Check the way that I maneuver, need nostalgia in the morning. And we not looking at the phone, that there is a warning. Cause that infinite scroll surely interrupting your soul. Right now we taking full control. Whenever we up on the pod, you know we gotta go ape. Erick the Architect and Harry Mack, this is Flow State.
Come on! Nah! You went crazy, bro. What the fuck? Woo!
Come on, man.
Damn! Bro, never did I think making that beat that. Fuck, bro. That was crazy.
Yo, that beat goes hard.
Damn.